Hello and welcome back to Together Facing the Challenge. We're in session 2. My name is Shelley Guess, and I'm a TFC case manager in the Southeast region. So, setting session 2, we're going to talk about setting expectations. We're going to be catching kids at being good, praising them, and following through with the rewards and other forms of positive reinforcement are good ways to improve behavior. So, once again, welcome back. We have some activities. Most of these are group activities, but I would like for you just to try to do these with yourself, and then we'll ask you to turn in the your findings to your case manager or your licensing specialist. So the gallery walk is a little bit group oriented, but you could do it with you and your husband, wife, partner, whatever it is. So what you do is you just take and you put some chart paper around the room, and you put A, B, and C on them. And on one, you talk about what's the social learning theory. On another, you talk about what is an invisible suitcase. And on the third one, you talk about how does trauma affect the youth. So you're going to kind of walk around and just put these down here and then review them. You can just do it on a piece of paper and then give it back to your case manager or your licensing specialist. Now, what we also want to do is talk about youth and foster care. We want to illustrate our tendency to focus on negative behaviors presented by kids while missing opportunities to catch our kids being good. So, this is going to be something that you write down. I want you to take on the role of a foster parent and think about the behaviors that you anticipate seeing or dealing with when you have TFC children placed in your home. So do that and just write down different behaviors that you expect to see, and talk about them with your case manager. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try to understand the significance of using praise and incentives as parenting tools, understand how daily check-ins build relationships, and identify effective versus ineffective instructions, as well as understand the importance of establishing and maintaining a clear set of house rules. So let's talk about the power of praise. So we all enjoy getting praise. It brightens our days and make us feel loved and appreciated. It gives us extra motivation to keep trying our best. Using praise with your kiddos will bring this joy and positive sense of self to them, and it has powerful effects. It builds your relationship with the child, especially since so many adults' words and actions have communicated that they can do nothing right. It also motivates the child to be a person you see them as a capable, praiseworthy, lovable person. So we also want to catch them being good, okay? This is helpful. This is a helpful phrase to remind parents to be on the lookout for times when their kiddos are exhibiting positive behaviors. Often, foster parents have been trained to watch carefully for negative behaviors, but are less likely to notice positive ones. Or if they indeed notice the positive behaviors, they are afraid to say anything and take a chance on disrupting the child's positive behavior. This results in a behavior that foster parents want to see more of being ignored. Ignoring positive behavior means it is less likely to reoccur in the future. So we really want to, when we catch them being good, we want to let them know, hey, good job. I'm proud of you. I'd like to see more of that behavior. Be real with them. Praise needs to be authentic. Kids take notice and know whether or not you really mean what you say, especially kiddos in care. Now, I want you to remember as well that praise can be a cost effective reward. Using praise is easy and cost effective way to provide reinforcement while strengthening the relationship. Parental praise increases the likelihood that children will exhibit positive behavior in the future and has the added benefit of increasing their self-esteem. So kids take notice, even if it seems like they don't. They notice when we're giving them praise. Even kids who have a lot of behavioral problems are not always misbehaving. Encourage foster parents to let the youth in their care know when they see him or her behaving appropriately. Even though kids, and especially adolescents, may act like they don't care or appreciate the praise, they do notice the acknowledgement and the reinforcement provided. It increases the chances that they will behave positively again. Additionally, being transparent and authentic with praise helps to promote emotional and psychological safety for your youth with trauma histories. So, immediate versus delayed praise. Providing praise immediately after the behavior occurs is most effective. However, delayed praise is also beneficial. Therefore, we want to help you guys learn to reinforce a positive behavior whenever you get a chance. For example, if you notice a positive behavior in the morning before school, but forget to praise due to trying to get out the door for work, try to remember that afternoon to tell them, hey, I noticed you done that this morning and good job. Now, we can label praise too. Okay. Praise is important and it can come in two different forms, labeled and unlabeled. Both are beneficial, but it is important to know the difference and when to use which type. So, in your handouts that you'll get from your licensing specialist, you'll have this chart here. So, what is labeled praise and unlabeled praise? So, labeled praise identifies exactly what the youth did well. Unlabeled is when you indicate that the kiddo done something right well, but did not define it specifically. Example of the labeled praise. I like the way you completed your homework before dinner. Unlabeled. Good job. Nice work. When should we use labeled praise? When you want to increase a behavior that doesn't happen often is a good time to use labeled praise. Or when you're working on establishing a new behavior. Sometimes to use unlabeled praise is when you notice routine behaviors the youth has already mastered, or when the kiddo does something positive that they do frequently. The power of incentives. So think about incentives in your life. We get a paycheck or we could earn a promotion, receive praise from our boss, having your child tell you that a meal you made was wonderful. Incentives not only make us feel good, they also increase the likelihood that we will do the behavior again in the future. So we want to link incentives or rewards with praise that can increase the likelihood that the kiddos will continue to engage in the positive behavior. We want to keep the rewards small but frequent, and that is the best way to encourage positive behaviors. Rewards will be most effective if the kiddo has input. Adolescents can come up with surprisingly creative rewards. By giving the youth the opportunity to have input on incentives, we reinforce the empowerment, voice, and choice principles of being a trauma informed and increase the youth's sense of self control. Now, just remember, you guys have the final say on any rewards. When it is possible, have the rewards and incentives connect to the behavior. It is so important that we as TFC parents follow through on rewards. If a child works towards a reward, they must receive it for it to be effective at changing behavior. If the foster parent knows that there might be barriers to following through on a reward, like you're too tired at the end of the work week or a busy night due to ball practice, et cetera, then a different reward must be chosen and the child must be informed, complying with the trustworthy and transparency principle of being trauma informed. Now, I want you guys to think about this a little bit. Sometimes foster parents are initially against using incentives or rewards with children and adolescents. Why should I reward them for something they are supposed to be doing anyway? So when you face these situations, let's use examples of positive rewards and incentives. For example, you can tell your kiddo, look, I go to work and I get rewarded for going to work by getting a paycheck. And so when you do what you're supposed to, you can get a reward for doing your chores or doing your homework or whatever you might be saying good job on. Okay. So remember, kiddos like praise just like we do. So there is an activity in your foster parent manual to make a list of incentives that you already use or might want to try with your aftercare kiddos and TFC kiddos. So here's some additional ideals for rewards, fun activities, having a foster parent approved friend over for an afternoon, going to the mall or park with a foster parent, additional time for enjoyed activities or additional screen time, a later bedtime on the weekends. So I want you to look in your manual at the Building a Trusting Relationship One Day at a Time page. So I want to introduce you to the concept of a daily check-in. First, encourage or praise the youth about something specific. Second, address a specific concern or goal. And finally, end on a positive note by encouraging or praising your kiddos. So 5 or 10 minutes each day with each kiddo in your home. I know sometimes it's hard to find, but it means a lot to these kiddos. They like to have your undivided attention for just that 5 minutes. And be creative when you encourage or praise them, and be consistent. Meet every day for 5 or 10 minutes and use the same structure where the child can share, and you provide a specific concern or goal, but make sure to close it on a positive note. Don't tell, don't use the you done great on this, but you didn't do so great on this. If you're going to do that, then end it with, but hey, you had a great day at school. We had good discussion at dinner. I'm really proud of you for joining in on the conversation. Always end that on a positive note. So let's talk about giving effective instructions. So, effective instructions are one way to encourage positive behavior and teach new behaviors. By giving effective instructions, kiddos know exactly what is being asked of them. One way to encourage positive behavior and teach new behaviors is for us as parents to give effective instructions and directions so the children know exactly what is being asked of them. Effective instructions and directions are more likely to lead to compliance and cooperation. Additionally, effective instructions increase youth sense of safety and provide a sense of trustworthiness and collaboration in the parent-youth relationship, which is particularly beneficial for youth with trauma histories. So here's a case example, okay? Jill is a 14-year-old and she is watching her favorite show on TV. During a commercial, her foster mother says, "When this show is over, please set the table for dinner." Jill says okay and finishes watching the program. When the show ends, she gets up and sets the table. Jill's mother thanks her for setting the table. What did Jill's mother do well, and what did she avoid? So it demonstrates that this case demonstrates a effective strategy for increasing the likelihood of compliance. She told Jill, "Hey, go ahead and finish watching your favorite show. But when it's over, I need your help setting the table for dinner." She didn't interrupt the show. She waited till a commercial came on. Jill says, okay, and finishes watching the program like the provider said. And when the show ended, Jill gets up and sets the table. So she was compliant with the request. And Jill's mother thanks her for setting the table and notices that she done exactly what was asked of her. What did she avoid? She avoided conflict and confusion. She didn't talk to her while the show was running. She waited for a commercial. She said, "Please wait till after the show is over and set the table for dinner." She didn't ask her to get up right then and do it and miss her favorite show. So she avoided conflict. Here's some more helpful strategies for you to consider that will increase the likelihood of success when teaching youth how to cooperate. Make sure you have their full attention. Just like Jill's mom didn't try to talk to her while the show was running, she waited for a commercial. Make sure you're clear and specific. Jill's mother said, "When this show is over, please set the table for dinner." Stay calm. Stay calm. When we get escalated, kiddos get escalated. Reinforce the positive and give a consequence for not minding. So, the case study didn't show that, but it would be, if you cannot do that, then you won't get to watch this TV show next week. So, and only give one or two simple tasks at a time. Because if you give too many, even to some adults, they're going to forget what some of the tasks are and probably miss them. Don't give instruction when the child is already fully engaged in another activity, such as watching their favorite show on TV. Repeat the request over and over. This only enforces non it reinforces non-compliance. Don't say it unless you mean it. Don't over-explain or talk too much. And don't ask a question. Avoid, do you think, or let's do this. Give specific instructions. So we're going to skip this name that instruction. It's in your, no, it's not in your manual. It's in my manual. I'm sorry. But we're going to skip that one. So, developing and fine-tuning house rules. So what we want to do here is understand the importance of developing and maintaining house rules. Creating house rules for the kiddos in care can be extremely beneficial. So you probably wonder why or how house rules help youth who have experienced trauma. Because a lot of times when these kiddos have experienced trauma, they come in and they want to please and they want to follow the rules. But if we don't have these house rules posted and gone over and explained over time, the kiddos will get settled in and might forget a rule or two. That is why it is important to constantly review the rules. Involve your youth in creating these rules. Be clear and specific. Keep the list short. More is not always better. Review them frequently and post them in a visible place. So here's some examples. Rules should be stated positive. For example, instead of saying no food in bedrooms, state what you want, such as all food is eaten in the kitchen. Be clear and specific. Spell out exactly what should be done. Involve the kiddos. Kiddos should be involved in making and revising the rules as much as possible. Prioritize. Keep the list short. Some examples of house rules might include respect personal space. That means always ask before you touch another person or only touch others in appropriate kindness, like a hug. Respect the house. Be careful around breakable objects. Put things away. Clean up if you make a mess. Use appropriate language. In addition to coming up with very specific and clear rules, it is also important to consider the following 4 areas when establishing them. Physical interaction. Make sure that the kiddos are physically safe. Privacy. Ensure a level of privacy that is comfortable for everyone. Food. Ensure everyone is clear about what is acceptable. Household routines. Ensure that the household runs smoothly. Okay, so I want you guys to take just a few minutes and watch this video here. Or here, we'll just play it on here, maybe. Possibly, we'll watch it on here. Okay, well, I am doing this from home and my internet is not the greatest, so I'm gonna let you guys just watch that when you can, okay? And then look at this next slide, discuss the following. What did the mother do well? Take a moment to reflect on the house rules that you have in place using the following questions for guidance. So after watching this video, kind of do a check-in on your house rules. There is some forms in your manual that you can use to help you create house rules. On page 20 and 24. Page 24 is for the house rules and 20 is for doing your daily check-ins. So, session 2. Let's wrap it up. So, what we learned about today was the power of praise, the power of incentives, building relationships by having daily check-ins, giving effective instructions, and developing effective house rules. So we can't really do the partner or group activity. So I'm going to let you guys go, but be sure and do those house rules and really try to have that daily check-in with each of the kiddos in your home. I'll see you again in session 4.